Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this session, we are going to learn all about the PHP. So, what exactly PHP? What is the role of PHP? What PHP do? Where the PHP can work? How to save the program? Or what is the exact role of PHP? So that we are going to understood. We are not going to see only the theoretical concept, but also for the practically we are going to implement it. Everything. With the step by step, we are going to see all the concept of the PHP related. So first of all, we understood what exactly the PHP is. So the PHP is basically it is a full form of PHP is a hypertext preprocessor, and it is open source. Open source means it's a free of cost, or you can download and run it anywhere, not a problem. The main thing about the PHP is the PHP script is executed on a server. When we say the server, that means this script is not going to work at a client side. Then what exactly the server and the PHP is, whether it's a programming language? No, the PHP is not a programming language. It is a scripting language, but it is a server side scripting language. So why it is a server side scripting and what exactly the role of PHP at server side scripting? That we are going to see on the practical. So first of all, this the we are understanding the PHP is a hypertext preprocessor and it's widely used open source scripting language executed on server, and it is free to download, and it can be embedded in the front end, and you can use anything like you can use HTML, JavaScript, all the client side scripting that you can use on, and then on server side we can use the PHP. There are so many languages on the server side, but PHP is the most easy and we can integrate the server side scripting with the client very easily managed. So let's see how PHP exactly the work. Okay. So as I said, the PHP is a client side scripting, server side scripting. So how exactly the PHP work? See. So if you observe this diagram, so basically the client side means anything. You may have a laptop, you may have a computer, you may have a mobile applications. Whenever you are submitting some data, that data should be goes on a server. If data is going on a server, that means it's storing it somewhere. Any form we are filling, any mobile application or any form we are submitting when the data, that data goes must at server side. Over the internet, the data is going to pass on the server. When we'll reach on a server, there must be a someone who is going to understood the what kind of data it is, and based on data they are processing, and accordingly they are storing on database. So it is never happen that whenever you're submitting some data that directly going to enter into the database. It is only general thing that how exactly the this is going to understand to where to store a data, how to store a data, which kind of data it is. So this understanding, there must be a someone who is understanding all the things. Mean what kind of request it is and where to store a data and how to store the data. So you can say that the PHP is a kind of a mediator which is accepting all the requests from the client side, processing that request, and accordingly they are storing onto the database. Because database, if you say that the database understand only a SQL languages, and if you front end should be anything, if you just basically consider that is HTML. Okay, when you are submitting data from the HTML forms and it going directly to SQL, it is never happen that HTML is directly going to store the data in the database. So this understood SQL and designing is in HTML. So there is somebody, a mediator, who's understand both the things. So at that time, we need a server side scripting. Like as I said, the server side, there are many languages. Means there are PHP is there. There is a ASP using a .NET. Then there is a JSP, Java Server Page. There is a servlet. Means many server side scriptings are present. But as of we are using the PHP as a server side scripting. So the now here the role of PHP is to understood whatever the client request is coming from the client side and process that things, and accordingly we have to store the data into the database. So the main role of PHP is at the server side, because this the PHP can understand in PHP languages we can easily execute the SQL language, as well as we can easily read this form data. Means both the work PHP can do. The server side script can handle the queries as well as the request. So it is, in short, you have to just remember that the PHP is a kind of a mediator which accepting the client request and storing into the database. And whenever you are requesting something from a browser, then also the role of PHP comes. So PHP going to understood the what kind of request it is, and based on request, suppose you are saying sending some request to the server side, so that request is going to process here, and accordingly the request it find the data onto the database, and it again it send a response to the client. So basically it is happen. You can say that whatever the request you are sending, the based on the process is happen here, and based on process it will send you the response. Okay, so in general this kind of client side server client and server side architecture is happening. So basically this structure is say that client server architecture. Okay, so this is what the client server architecture is. Means you are sending some request to the data to the server. There is a someone who is processing that data, and based on processing that, sending response back to the your client side. So for example, you are in a 10th and 12th result you are sending, you're just entering the seat number, whatever the seat number is, suppose 1 2 3 4, and based on this seat number the request it goes to the server. The server will find this record into the database, and based on database we are seeing the result. Okay, so this is how exactly the PHP works. Now we're going to see the practically. So now the second thing is we understood the what exactly PHP is. Basically, it is a kind of mediator which accepting the request, and based on request, it's sending the processor. Means it's kind of a mediator which execute only a server side. Okay, fine. Then next is we got the what is a PHP. Now what is next? For the next is where to execute, how to execute. Okay, this everything we should know, and how to execute and how to run this program, where to save this program. There are so many things we have to represent. It is not like a HTML. In HTML, you can save the file with the .html extension at any location and you can directly run that. But for the PHP, you cannot do like this. Okay. For saving PHP program, we need a server, as it is a server side scripting. So for executing the server side scriptings, we need a kind of server. So first of all, we need to install one server. So basically, we are using the Apache server for executing the PHP program, and for that we need one kind of software. Is that software is called as a XAMPP software. So based on your PC configuration, you can just go to the Google and search a XAMPP for anything. It may be the Windows 10 or Windows 11. So I have the Windows 11 and I already installed, so I'm not going to download this. I'm just showing the process. So basically go for here, it will redirect to this thing. So download the XAMPP based on your requirement, and after downloading, just click next, and it gonna automatically go and install. So I have already installed it. So I just type the XAMPP here, that is a control panel. After installing and you opening this, suppose just start Apache, because it is a server. So now the Apache is going to start it. Now you can use the notepad, you can use the any editor to write the PHP programs. So but I'm going to use a Visual Basic Studio. So I also recommend it to use these things because it is kind of easy to write the code and maintain the code. And you can open the entire folder is also, so that is better to open all the file at single locations. Okay, now we understood the for executing the XAMPP program, we need Apache server, but how to write the program, how to begin the program, and where to save. So that is only thing you have to remember. because once you understood how to write the program, where to save and how to run, then you can easily do this program. So for other languages, there is not that much hectic things, but PHP, executing the PHP as it is a server-side scripting, so we need to know the entire process. So so what exactly the process is? Okay, so that we are going to see, and just simply what you can do. The first of all, you have to write on simply PHP code. So for writing PHP, you can use the opening tag and PHP. For every programming languages, it's having its own syntax. So for the PHP, we're having this syntax. So opening tag question mark PHP. And for printing things in C language, we're using the printf, in CPP cout, in Java system.out.println. But as in PHP, we are using the echo as a statement. So I'm just saying the welcome to PHP. So this is what my program is. And for saving this program, we have to use the extension as a .php. So now the question is the where to save this program. You cannot save at anywhere. There is a certain location, and whenever we're saying it is a web base, so every web base having a certain address, so we have to store at a particular location. So what exactly the location is? So you have to save this program at which location, just understood carefully. So every after installing the XAMPP server, you will get you can install in any drive. Okay, I have installed in D drive, so I will open the D drive. There is a XAMPP folder. In the XAMPP folder there is one folder, you can the htdoc folder. You have to open the folder and you can create your own folder name. So just I'm saying the YouTube yphp ytphp. So this is what my folder is, and within this folder, within that folder I'm storing that php file. So just search that folder where it is, ytphp. So you have to write this program. Suppose I'm writing the first dot php. Make sure that you have selected all the file, otherwise it will create a dot php dot txt file. So I'm saving this program the first dot php. Just save this. Okay, so this is simple message we have created. Now the question is where to run these programs. So you can open any browser and just type the local host, and what folder name is our ytphp. Okay, so once you hit the address, you will get the location of the php. Now see, we have saved this program in the .php. I'm just clicking this, so we'll get the welcome to PHP. So this is very important to execute the first program, because once you understood the process, where to save the program, how to write the program, and how to run the programs. So on the basis of that, you can do the many programming PHP server side scripting and you can execute. So a lot of students having a doubts exactly how to run, where to save, what to do. So that is what the thing's all about. So basically, it is the first session, so only I trying to understand the what exactly the PHP is and how to run how to run and execute the PHP program. So very shortly, I'm going to revise the PHP is understandable now. So just PHP is a kind of mediator which accepting the client request, storing at a server side. So as of now, we are just focusing on the server side scriptings. We are not seeing the client side. We are not seeing the databases. The focus is now only about the server side scripting. As the next session is going on, we are going to learn about the client side also and the database also. First, now the focus is only the server side scripting. Okay, so PHP is a kind of mediator language. So that language we have to study first, and then the client side things, and then the database side things. Okay, so the PHP is going to accept the request, and accordingly it's going to send the response. This is what the PHP is. So basically, PHP is a server side scripting. Now, for running PHP program, we need a one XAMPP server. We can easily download, and it is setup is also easy. Once you download the XAMPP server, you have to open this, start the XAMPP server and start the Apache server. After starting, you can use any editor. As of now, I'm using Notepad, but you can use any editor. So write this program. The first, we start with the less than question mark PHP, and for printing things we are using the echo statements, and the closing statement the question mark, and less than greater than sign. Okay, and for saving this program we have to save at particular locations. Location is the XAMPP folder. Within you have to XAMPP folder, and then XAMPP folder there is a htdoc name folder. In htdoc we have to create our own name folder, as I have created the yt PHP, and in that location you have to save that programs. For the saving programs, how to run that program? For saving, use the .php extension, and then go to the browser, type localhost and your folder name and your file names. Okay, in this way you can run the PHP program. So I hope you understood what exactly we did. Our main aim is to how to what is PHP, where to run, how to run, where to save, and what exactly the setup is needed for PHP. Next session, we are going to work on the rest of parts. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you.